Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back. Today we want to look at one of the tools that we built at the very start of the Ultimate Cybersecurity Lab project, and that was Wazoo. Whenever we built Wazoo, we just built the base server and we added a few agents. We never really configured any of the other tools like vulnerability scans, integrity monitoring, or really anything. We did no integrations, and that's what I want to do today. So I want to get that up and going. I want to integrate Wazoo with the Hive. I want to start sending the alerts over to the Hive and really just seeing what we can do with those tools. So if you followed along with the Ultimate Cybersecurity Lab project and you built this server, then this is technically episode 8, where we're going to go back and visit all of these tools just to get them up to speed and really just to configure them all. If you haven't followed the lab project, then you don't really need to do that for this video. If you just have Wazoo and you want to integrate it with the Hive and you want to do some of the other extra configuration within Wazoo, then you should be able to follow this tutorial as well. Before we start configuring the lab in Wazoo, I want to show you my dev version of this server and this whole lab. I've already configured everything in that version, so I've added a number of agents and made a lot of changes. So let me open up Wazoo and I will show you what we have done. So if you look at Wazoo here, you can see we have 4 agents installed. We have Docker, we have our pfSense firewall, we have Kali Linux, and a Windows domain controller. If we start with the Docker server, we've configured a number of things here. So integrity monitoring is there. We are monitoring downloads folder within our server, so that is now sending logs for anything that changes within that folder. If we go back here and under vulnerabilities, you can see that it's starting to bring in a lot of the vulnerabilities on that server. And this information is then helping to build some of these other things like the security configuration assessment. You can see here the CIS benchmarks. That's how we can properly harden this Ubuntu VM. Back here under MITRE-ATT&CK, you can see it's populated some information here. Based on events and vulnerabilities, it's starting to build out all of this information. Back whenever we built this Docker server, we enabled the Docker listener, so you can see within here that it is starting to pull information in from each of the containers, so it's monitoring those containers as well, which is good. In terms of Windows, if we go back to the agents, if I open up the domain controller, you can see I pretty much done the same thing here. So I've configured integrity monitoring and I have added our mapped drive that we created back when we built our DC. So that is there and it's monitoring the documents within that shared folder. We are also, you can see there is a security configuration assessment, so the benchmark, again how you can harden that VM. Vulnerabilities has been enabled and configured, so you can see there's 40 critical vulnerabilities that I should probably fix with that VM. And again, MITRE-ATT&CK, so starting to pull all that information in there. So you can see there is quite a lot of information in here. So one of the things I wanted to do was to integrate Wazoo with the other tools that I built in the lab. And the first one I wanted to integrate with was the Hive. The Hive is an incident response platform. So if I open up the Hive, you can see here that there is a number of alerts that are now being ingested from Wazoo, which is good. We can then use these alerts to build cases. So you can see here there's a lot of stuff going on. So that's just to give you a quick overview of what we're going to build. I'm going to take you through step by step how I've done all of this. So we'll build the vulnerabilities across Windows and Linux. We'll do the integrity monitoring across Windows and Linux, and then we'll do the integration for Wazoo to the Hive. So I'll get all the links to the instructions and documentation as well, so I'll pop them in the description below. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my dev lab and power on my production environment, and we're going to start by checking out what agents we have in Wazoo. So I've logged back into my production environment and I've opened up my domain controller. I am logged into Wazoo, and as you can see there is only 3 agents installed. So the first thing I need to do is to add my Windows domain controller to this so we can start to get all those logs in. So let's get the agent installed on that machine. So just click on deploy new agent, select Windows. I need to enter in the FQDN for the server, so it's wazoo.jared.local. I'm going to leave the rest of these settings as default, so it's going to use the host name, which is perfect. Then all we have to do is copy this command. I'm going to open up PowerShell and we're going to get that installed. So just run that as administrator. I'm going to paste that in and hit enter. The next thing we need to do is just to start the service. So copy the next command, go back to PowerShell. Okay, so that should start the service. So if we go back to our agents, so it has already picked up the DC, so it said it's never connected. So we give that a second and we should see it eventually refresh and connect. There you go. So as you can see, it's now here. So if we click into that, you will see that there's not going to be much in here. Some events, the agent started, which is fine. But in terms of the other services like integrity monitoring and vulnerabilities, none of those are going to be in there. So out of the box, in Wazoo, vulnerability scanning is disabled by default, but it is really easy to enable. All you have to do is go into your configuration file. So just click on management, and then we're going to go into configuration, and then just click on edit configuration. Within here, just move down this file. You will eventually see vulnerability detector, and you will see enabled as set to no. So just delete no, type in yes. Now while I'm here, I'm just going to enable this for Ubuntu as well. So just go down, and as you can see here under Ubuntu OS vulnerabilities, it is saying enable as no. So let's change that to yes. Click on save and then restart manager. So that's going to restart the manager in Wazoo. In order to start seeing vulnerabilities in Wazoo, we need to go to each of the machines and restart the agents. So let me first do that for Windows. Again, within PowerShell, all you do is type in restart service --name and then Wazoo, and that should restart the Wazoo service. If we go back to Linux, from here all we have to do is sudo systemctl restart Wazoo agent, put in the password, and that should restart the agent for you. Okay, let's go back to the DC again, and we will see, we may not see any vulnerability details just yet, but we can go and check. So there's nothing there yet, but we will check. We'll come back and check this, because sometimes it just takes a little while to see these alerts. While we're waiting for the Docker server and the Windows server to start reporting their vulnerabilities back to Wazoo, let's get integrity monitoring set up. So the first server I'm going to do is the Windows domain controller. Really easy to do. Just open up Notepad as administrator, run as admin, and click on file and open, and then I'm going to go to your C drive, go to program files x86 OSSEC agent. I'm going to change this to all files. I'm going to go OSSEC, so this one here. This is the file we need. So open up that one, and then let's browse down till we can see file integrity monitoring. Okay, perfect. I want to monitor a directory, so maybe, where do I want to put this? Here. All we have to do is type in directories realtime equals yes, report underscore changes equals yes, check underscore all equals yes. And I'm going to close that. Then I'm going to put in my folder structure. So C users, let me actually check, where do I want to add? So C user, no, it's the C shared, it's this one. I'm just going to copy this and go back here, paste that in. Then we need to close these, so we're going to go like this. Okay, that should be it. So directories realtime equals yes, report changes equals yes, checked all equals yes, and then the actual location of the shared folder that I want to monitor. So I just click on file, I'm going to save that. We do need to go back to PowerShell and restart our server, so I'm going to hit up. Let's restart that. Now within my shared folder, I'm just going to go there and create a folder, test. I'm going to create a couple of files. New file, hello. I'm going to go, this is a test note. I'm going to save that. Okay, I'm going to close that now, and then let's just go back to Wazoo and see if any of this is being picked up. So let's open up our domain controller. I'm going to go to integrity monitoring, and oh, there's something here. So under events, we can see it has worked. So you can see it's found this document. So let's open this up. File has been added. It should actually tell me what has been added within the document. Maybe that'll be the next event. Let's go back to my hello file. I'm going to make another change. I'm going to add another test message, and I'm going to change this note to message. I'm going to save that, and then we'll go back and see if any of this has been picked up and how fast it's been. Okay, that was really fast. So you can see here, so it's picked it up and it has told me it's been modified. It's actually giving me the information that this is a test message, so it's told me that it was note, now it's message. So that's integrity monitoring configured for Windows. As you can see, it's very, very easy. It's exactly the same process in Linux, but I'm going to show you how you can do it. So let's hop over to my Kali machine, and from there we'll SSH to the Docker machine and we'll make those changes. So I'm back on my Kali server, and I'm going to SSH to the Ubuntu server. I'll share that local. First thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to elevate myself. So you need to do this as root. So put in my password. Then I'm going to go to cd-var osec etc directory. And if you check what's in that folder, you can see there is an osec.conf. That is the file that we need to modify and configure real-time monitoring in. So let's open up that in Nano. Again, I'm going to go all the way down until I can see the file integrity section. So you can see here, let's put this in right here underneath this directories to check. So again, exactly what we did the last time, directories real time equals yes. Report changes equals yes. Check underscore all equals yes. Close that. Then we are going to add the directory that we want to check. So in mine, that is home, Jared, downloads. I'm going to close this and close that, and that should be it. Directories real time, yes. Report changes, yes. Oh, I made a mistake, and that should be it. So Control X, yes to save, enter. Now we do need to restart the agent again, so let's do that. So it's systemctl restart wazoo-agent. So let's go to the directory that we're monitoring. So if I go to cd home, within here you can see I should have Jared. Okay, let's go into that. In this folder I created a new folder called downloads. So let's go into that. In here you will see there's no files. So the first thing I'm going to do is touch new file. I'm going to put that in there, and then I'm going to edit that file and we'll put some information into it. Hello, this is a test message. Control X, Y, enter to save. Let's go back to Wazoo and see if we can see any of these changes in this server. Back in Wazoo, open up your agents. I'm going to click on Ubuntu. You can see some things that's happening here. So let's go into integrity monitoring. We can see events. As you can see, new file, which is here. So it has pulled those logs and it can see that we've made that file. While we're here, let's go back and check and see if any of the vulnerabilities are showing up now within Wazoo. So under Windows, let's go into vulnerabilities. Okay, so you can see there's 40 critical vulnerabilities, so there's a lot of stuff coming through now. I wonder, has it give any of this information? It has. Let's go into our MITRE and see if it shows anything in there. Okay, it's starting to build that up as well. Perfect. Let's go back to our Linux machine and see, are we seeing everything in there too? So under vulnerabilities. Okay, perfect. 11 critical vulnerabilities. So as you can see, enabling the integrity monitor and vulnerabilities across Windows and Linux is pretty simple. Now the last thing I wanted to do as part of this video was to do the integration with Hive. Now, I'm not going to go through the initial build of the Hive. I did that back in one of the previous episodes as part of the Ultimate Cybersecurity Project. If you haven't seen that and you want to build this as well, go back and follow that video to get to here. But what we'll cover today is the initial setup with the Hive. You have to create an organization and a users. I did that previously as well, but I can run through it again. And then we'll do the integration and we'll see what we can do. So there is a really good piece of documentation on the Wazoo website that takes you through this integration and step-by-step instructions on how you can actually do that. So I'll link that in the description below. So it's broken down into a number of steps. As you can see, step 1 is to prepare the Hive. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Now, before we can get logged into the Hive, you need to go back to Portainer and actually make sure all of your containers are started. So under stacks, you should see all of the containers that make up this application. If any of them haven't started, just tick it and just click on start. That will actually start it up. So as you can see, I've done that. I'm now logging in. The default login for the Hive is admin@thehive.local, and then the password is secret. First thing you need to do as part of the setup, and we did it back whenever I built this, is create a new organization. I have created this organization called Jurda, and it is really easy to do. Just back in organizations, click on plus, put in your name, and that's pretty much it. Open up the organization and then create a new user. So I've created this GoAdmin user and I've set it as the org admin profile. So again, really easy to do. All you have to do is click on plus. So it's a normal user. Put in your login, your name, and your profile. I've set mine to org admin because that has the most privileges. So again, this is just a lab, so I can do that. Once you've done that and you've created a user, under preview, just go down here and set password. You can click on edit password, put in a new password, hit enter and save. Then once you log out, you can log back in as that user. That will then show you some of these other things that are here. So let me do that. I'm just going to log out of here. I'm going to log in as my user that I created. As you can see, now I can see this thing, alerts and cases, but I can't see any alerts. There's nothing in there. So step 1 of the integration is to create the organization, create the test user, and then set the password. And then what we'll do is we get our API key, and that's what we need to use. So we've pretty much covered that piece. If we go back to the Hive, we need to create a new API key for my GoAdmin user that I've just created. So back at the Hive, go into your organization at the bottom. I'm going to click on this user. Beside my user, you should see preview. Under API key, you can see there's nothing actually there. So just click on create. I'm going to copy all of this and I am going to open up a new text document and just paste it in there. Just keep that handy for now because we will need that during the setup. So for the next piece, we need to make some changes within the Wazoo server. So I'm going to open up terminal and we're going to SSH to the Wazoo server. So SSH Jurd Wazoo.jurd.local. Yes. Put in my password. So as you can see, as part of the instructions, the first thing we need to do is to install the Hive Python module. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to my terminal. I'm just going to paste that in. Hit enter. Put in my password. And let that go and do its thing. Okay, so it's telling me that there is a new version of pip available. So I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to upgrade that. I'm just going to copy this command here. Copy selection. And I'm going to paste that. Oh, I need to do sudo. Okay, that's the first piece done. So if we move down, the next section, it says we need to create this file. So we need to create this file within this directory. So integrations. Okay, let's do that. First of all, let's elevate ourselves. Then we're going to go to cd var YSSEC. Let's see what's in there. We need to go into the integrations folder. Let's see what is in there. So if we go back here, it's saying we need to create this file and add all of this code. So let's copy all this code. So create a new file, custom-w2thive.py. Then we're going to nano. We're going to open that. I'm going to click on edit and paste clipboard. Click on Control and X, hit yes, and then enter. So that will save the file. So now we need to create another file, and this is going to be a bash script that's going to call that Python file that we created there now. So let's just go back here and we're going to create another new file. So touch custom C2T Hive, and then we're going to open it again in Nano. And then I'm going to go back here and I'm going to copy all of this back to my terminal. I'm going to paste that in. I'll do Control X, Y to save and enter. If we move further down, you can see we need to change the permissions. As you can see that there's a sudo command here. We're already elevated as root anyway, so we don't need to add that. And there is this note to say the correct ownership of Wazoo 4.3.0 is root Wazoo, so it's not this OSAC. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go into my notepad. I'm going to paste it in. Now let's modify this. So I'm going to get rid of sudo. We don't need that. And I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to replace this with Wazoo. Okay, so let's just copy this. Add a copy. I'm going to go back to my terminal and I'm going to paste that in. And enter. Okay, perfect. So that has worked. So if we go back here, you will see there's one last change we need to make, and that is to add this to our configuration file. So we can easily do that within the Wazoo manager. So let's go back to Wazoo, under management, under configuration. I'm just going to click on edit configuration. Then under global, I'm just going to make a space, and in here I'm going to paste. Okay, so this is the name. So here is the IP address. You need to use the IP address. It won't allow you to use the DNS name. 10.30.50 is mine. Then go back to our document that we created earlier. So this is the one. We need to copy this API key, because that's the key we need to add in the section below. So we're going to just delete that one and put your key. So click on save. We then need to restart manager. So I think restarting the manager was the last step. So if we go back to Wazoo, that's been done. Let's go back here. Oh, you can see some alerts already. It's really, really fast actually. So you can see now there is some alerts popping into the Hive. With these alerts, you can start to click into some of these things and you can play around with this tool. You can create cases, you can run through it. I haven't really used the Hive a lot, only in this lab. So I'm not even fully sure how to use the platform yet, so I want to play around with it first before I start making videos on it. But it does look really good. But the main thing is we are getting alerts from Wazoo into the Hive, which is what I wanted to do in this lab. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I wanted to get a number of different agents added. I wanted to do the file integrity monitoring, the vulnerabilities. I wanted to get all of those logs and get the integration working with the Hive. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment box below. I will leave all the links to all of the instructions and things that I did for both of the tools in the description below. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't seen any of the Ultimate Cybersecurity Lab project yet, then I suggest you go back all the first 7 episodes of that whole series where we build all of the tools as part of this lab is there. You can follow right through to them to get your lab looking pretty much the way I have mine. Again, let me know if you have any questions in the comment box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again.